Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to AoE2 History. Last time we had the WCG2001, WCG obviously meaning World Cyber Games, basically the Olympics of Age of Empires, or not Age of Empires, of esports. Well, we are in 2001, early December, and we are playing in Seoul, Korea for over $300,000 mixed over like 6 different games. And we had Age of Empires 2 there, a 1v1 tournament won by Kmkm as shown last time in the finals there against Grunt. And today we will take a look into the Nations Cup, a 2v2 tournament, and we'll show you the 2 semifinals and the finals in the end. So the semifinal number 1 will be Korea against USA, and I prepared stuff here. And this will be only a best of 1. Followed by the semifinal of Canada against Japan, and in the end we will have the winners fighting it off for the prize pool, which is in this case 6k for first, 300 for second, and 3k for second and 2k for third. Thanks so much, Tato. We are taking a small peek into the history of Age of Empires, and we'll directly jump into this game. Guys, it will be played on 2v2 Arabia with just simply pick civilizations. And why not just jump in here? We will have in the blue trunks playing for the United States of America, DauT US, and he is playing Hans. His teammate will be Randy playing the Mongols. That's what he did there, and this is indeed 1.C. On the other side, we have Mr. Wargrunt playing the Chinese, potentially the best player in the world at that time. Just 1 month ago, he won 50k in the Microsoft tournament, and then he won a solid, what was it, 10k or something? Just 1 or 2 days before this here. And or maybe 1 or 2 days later. I don't really know how this happened. I maybe can look this up later. And his teammate, Mr. Koven, a true legend. Later on in the history, even joined Tyrant and an absolute beast, and we will see more out of him as well. 2v2 coming your way here, Grunt, now with the house. Obviously, we don't have any spec overlays, and let's see how they're playing this out. Actually, early lame here from Mr. Randy. Obviously, like stealing a boar with the scouts was completely out of the question at that time. People never did that before. You never really saw that at that time. And yeah, simply because of the lag, not possible. And trying it for the first time offline when the world is watching, not really going to happen. See, Koven starting with the mill before the lumber camp, and Randy, what's he doing with his Koven? Randy. Okay, it's a peaceful game, a very peaceful game here. Randy running through the TC, but Koven simply does not care. And let's take a look. Randy, he did scout quite a bit. Didn't see his 2CP here. Needs to get another boar. Not the greatest wood line for him here. And well, nice deer close by. I believe on this old Arabia map, deer could be more close by, and you could even have like multiple spots there. Grunt going for the mill start as well with Chinese, kind of the standard at that time. Only 3 villagers in TC. Everyone obviously getting loom, as we mentioned before in our other episodes. The absolute standard to go for loom before luring a boar here, and that's why we see everyone doing exactly that and not taking any risks. DauT actually not having loom here. Let's take a look. Is he trying to get it now? Not really. So he is going for the optimization here and tries to get loom or the boar without loom pretty untypical for that time, but people got a bit fancy, this being an offline game. Five on wood, more than we see nowadays, and boar is running back. Might be some TC turn not really working, some idle TC, and now he's squeezing a loom. It was too risky for him, and now shot the boar twice and is now running properly. Point advantage obviously on the side of the Americans here, having the Mongols giving them so much more to scout. Why was Hans used so many times back in the days? Well, it was considered to be the best civilization, not needing to build houses, and the strongest 1v1 civilization. Everyone was feeling like that the Civ to go, and it stayed that way till I would say like 2009, 2010, since people realized that maybe Aztecs could be better than Huns. But we will take a look into that later on as well, how that meter changed and yeah, how people kind of switched away from Huns to Aztecs and why. Interesting farm here by Mr. Randy. And only now the second boar, quite late here at the 7 mid marks. This be on YouTube? Yes, absolutely. What's the price per of this? 6k for first, 3k for second, 2k for third. Maybe there was some price for fourth, but I didn't see that. Run now with a lot of villagers on wood here. Let's take a look. Is someone up to the feudal age? Randy, not up either. Going for way higher pops. Very late second boar. Did people lure deer? You mean push deer? No, never. Every guide at that time said, never use your scout to push deer. You have to scout with it. Grunt on the other side, 450 food. Lots of villagers on wood. And Koven, 430 food. So people will go up pretty soon here. Pop 24, pop 25. And DauT clicking up now, doing the bell. Not the greatest lumber camp, but as we said on the other episodes as well, you never had those small trees, so it's tough to build proper lumber camps. Grunt and Koven formed Tyrant? No. A guy from Dubai found a Tyrant and bought in some players. And Grunt, Halen, and Kkab, I believe, were the first ones to join. RiuT Champion and Bell together with Koven just joined later, I feel. Oh, going for the aggression here is DauT. Ah. Not the greatest wood really for Randy. Obviously, there weren't any restarts. We're talking about a best of one series for several $1,000. You know, that there weren't any restarts. Okay, DauT going for the aggression. Randy, he has a lot of food. Kind of expecting scouts out of him. Oh, even trying to steal the sheep here is Mr. Koven. What is he going for? Grunt is only now building the defensive barracks. And Koven, he is staying at home as well. And now really tries to push up that barracks. Lots of farms out for him. And Grunt, actually going aggressively with his Chinese here as well. Quite surprising. And probably did scout this, still has his scout around. Where's the scout of DauT? Completely out of position. And that's not looking too great for him. Needs to lead his archery ranges and is going back. Defensive archery ranges now from DauT. Let's take a look if he is losing a villager. Now tries to go for the first fight here. In the meanwhile, we see some aggression of Randy in the TC, but that's not most important. Both scouts going down, and Grunt even pulling. Look at Grunt! He's pulling 6 more villagers. That's 8 villagers aggression now against only 3 villagers aggression. He really wants to go crazy. Goes for 1 archery range. Did have some idle villagers. At the same time, we see archery range followed by stable at home from Koven, and double archery range from Mr. Randy here. Obviously not the choices most people would go for today, but it is tricky. You guys have to remember, it was not standard to see any recs from any top players. So if you wanted to know and learn about the game, you either had to do it on your own, or that's kind of it. Or play against other top players and try to learn there. Top players like Koven always did forbid to put record on, so you never had the chance to learn from him. Now trying to rush out the tower, some losses here, pulling the weakened one forward as well. Now some spearmen, they're obviously pretty good in small numbers against skirmishes. Now trying to fight down that tower. What is Grunt doing? He's still heavily on stone, so next tower could come up. Let's take a look at his stone count. We can see that he can actually build another one. This is looking pretty good at the moment. The tower, I believe, won't go down. The spearmen are doing a nice job, and uh-oh, Dante needs to go back. Huge fail out of him. This tower not going up either. Spearman aggression is continuing. And, well, trying to get that tower up. That, I believe, won't really happen. And he is pulling the villagers. Has a nice amount of skirmishes, but in a tricky situation for sure. Beautiful move here. What are we seeing on the other side? Koven being somewhat active with his scouts. Tries to see what's up, and Randy going for the aggression, but oh, look at that. Protecting tower here by Mr. Grunt. Guys, you have to remember, those are the top guys in the world. 2001 playing against each other here. Koven not super active, now coming around to his scouts. One villager loss that we saw when this big engagement over here happened. One really wants to get some more houses up apparently, and wants to continue with his aggression. Randy, oh, will he double? Now we see Koven around. I don't see a lot of spearmen protecting that area. Need to pull those villagers. And it's very rarely that you fought with villagers against scouts, even in small numbers. Most of the time you just pulled them. Fighting came a bit later there. Now trying to go for that tower. Villagers pretty low. One villager of Grunt coming over, trying to repair his tower. Oh, I believe the tower will go down, but with what losses here? Grunt is sending more over, needs to repair. That tower is still doing massive damage here. I believe this is another good engagement for Grunt here, and Dante not looking great. Pop 39 here. Let's take a look. In the meanwhile, Koven is getting raided, going for the T90 woo rush here into the woodline. What are we seeing here? Well, Koven cannot micro everything at the same time, apparently. Let's compare populations, shall we? Grunt 41, his direct opponent has 39 here, so no big losses, but has way more army, so the villager count should be in his favor. On the other side, we have Randy with pop 51 and some aggression here against Koven, with 41 only. And now going for the second stable. Really wants to push up his numbers a bit better there. Sees that's only one spearman and a lot of skirmishers around. No fletching on those. See two spearmen around, so he needs to get his skirmishes over as well. Continues with some aggression, and the wood lines really hurt for Randy. Tough situation for him. And Grunt, is he moving over, trying to tower rush the other player now? Or what is he doing? Let's go into his point of vision and see what he saw. Even scout his teammate there, or like the enemy on the other side. 380 food, and now the big clear up over here. Spearmen instantly died, and now the scouts are taking good care of that. Grassed out pyramid is not coming through. And just a random tower. That's Well, seems like he really wants to zone out some area. But Skirmish is actually going there. Trying to go back, Grunt, expecting the counter-attack, but the counter-attack didn't happen. Wow, what a weird tower. But actually Grunt, oh, will do some damage against those skirmishers here. Trying to jump back in there, still has most of his army at home. Oof. Those skirmishers died at the front. No one is on gold yet. Not a single player is on gold here at the 21-minute mark. So everyone basically knows, okay, feudal age is an important time. Let's get a big advantage there and see what's going on. House Castle wasn't really a viable strategy. People thought that's super crazy and that you would always die before that. Obviously, if you don't really know how to execute defensive towers and to perfectly quick wall and everything, it is getting so much trickier. And now trying to rush down this tower. Nice team play. Randy's still around. No one with a single blacksmith upgrade yet either. Poof. Tricky stuff. Oh, Koven, that's a lot of scouts, and he has bloodlines. So that will be some nice aggression for sure. Let's take a look. Where is he charging for? Okay, just trying to go through the center. Take a look, and oh, he went for gold in the back. Okay. Pulling his skirmishers back and going with the aggression with the scouts. Grunt maybe asking for some help in the center here, and those scouts would be so good in that area. Oh god, that could be so deadly double. Oh, and Koven going for so many scouts. So that's ridiculous. This could be so nice for them. Grunt already having a nice aggression over here. And DauT only defending with the skirmishers at the moment. No scouts coming over. Even with +1 attack now. He did go for the blacksmith, the first one here. And now going for the +1 defense. That means he will get all the rage in the world. And let's take a look. Where is he trying to snipe those villagers? Now going for the bell here. 3 villagers still died. 4 villagers died. Make that 5 now. And he's continuing to go for the raid. Oh god, that's so much damage output. And that's still without the +1 defense. So I believe that was 6 villagers going down. Where's Grunt? Grunt is running around. And now they're just trying to switch sides. Look at that. Koven is staying over here. And we have Grunt going to the other side. But now, 6 spearmen and a dozen of skirmishers coming around and trying to be annoying as well. No upgrades on those. Oh, this is getting tricky. What are the scouts at the front doing? Koven not taking the best care. Grunt staying active under this tower. Oh, this is tricky. This is tricky. DauT, what does he have to defend? I don't see anything really. Mass skirmishers, mass villagers, but not a single spearman. And now charging in. This will be so many kills for Koven if he stays here. And it feels like he wants to commit. 1 spearman coming over. No villagers fighting at the moment. This is so bad for DauT. He just built all of those precious skirmishers for himself. No upgrades on those. But Koven, he is a generous god and just goes back. I think he could have done even more damage. Probably was scared of those 2 spearmen. At the same time, Grunt stays active. What is... Oh, losing all the spearmen under the tower, apparently, and that's why Koven can clear this up as well. This is looking pretty sexy for Korea here. Remember, this is the semifinals. The winner will play against the winner of Canada against Japan. 1 defensive scout, 1 villager trying to take the tower down, and she will continue with that. That's all cleared up here. Where are the scouts in the center? Really in the center. Why no upgrades? Because they didn't know how important upgrades are at that time. Grunt the first one, now going for fletching. Now coming over and oh, he wants to go for some fighting with all those villagers. And I hear another stable, or the first stable from DauT. We'll go for some skirmishes or for some scouts himself now. Blacksmith obviously would have been the better choice here, if you ask me, since he has so many skirmishes out. Grunt going defensively, even look at that Grunt, the style of 2001. Walling his villager and building the defensive tower here. And oh, that's a lot of losses for Grunt. Where are the scouts of Koven? Well, they are around. And Grunt, that's not really a fight you can take. And he's running, but that's a lot more skirms of him. He's going for 2 archery ranges. And let's take a look now. The scouts are around there trying to focus down the spearman's first questionable choice, if you ask me. Look at that, how many losing their lives. Why did they not team play and try to snag those down? This looked so much better for Korea than they are actually taking the fight here. Not the greatest team play. Yeah, everyone is fighting together there, but the scouts not doing the damage that they could. That was the perfect fight here for US, if you ask me. Fighting down all the skirmishes. But Grunt is sending in more and more, and those are nice numbers. And still +1/+1 against unupgraded skirmishes. Being on the hill, so he will just wreck that army. Oh, at the same time, Randy is getting onto Castle Age. Let's take a look what he's going for. He did add 1 stable. Still some leftover army here, and well, Grunt trying to micro this. Randy, no upgrades on his scouts though. Koven coming over with all his army. How is he looking at the moment? That's a nice amount of farms. Going for stable number 2 and 3. And now he is positioning himself in front of those skirmishers. And I believe US has to run. Mark it now. And finally the switch onto gold here for DauT. Let's take a look at Grunt at the same time. He did go for another lumber camp and for some gold as well. Even microing the villagers around. Or are they just dropping off? No, microing them. Nice job. At the same time though, everything cleared up of Grunt here at the front. Koven charging in for more, and that's 4 stables out of Koven. And he wants to build some knights, I assume. Take a look. Queuing up 2 here, queuing up 2 here, queuing up 2 here. No upgrade yet, and probably will just wait for that stable, and then he will get 8 knights out very quickly. It was 4 stable, no sling production. Going someone to stone, wants to build more TCs, to build a defensive TC here. Defensive tower. The 1 skirmish array probably won't do too much. Maybe let's get an update on what Grunt is up to. He himself is up to Castle Age as well. He's continuing to produce skirmishes, doesn't have a stable, and wants to go for more defensive gold. Sees that he doesn't have a lot of army at the moment. Pop 48 out of 140. Tricky situation, but Koven, well, with all his knights, he will just shred those spearmen and skirmishers. Oh. Some aggression from Randy, no upgrades on his knight. Going for some camels to defend. But that probably won't be enough. Randy, very idle here. Oh, and Koven coming over. He has light cap as well, and he will just track this army so nicely. Pushing. Oh, and he's sending more skirmishers to the front. DauT still without any upgrades. Running into more knights and knights. But at least he is running away from here. Koven did actually get an axe here from Grunt. But he should get there. Oh, interesting. Oh, some more raids here in the back, but well, it's simply bloodlines. +1/+1 against no upgrades. Koven will take so cost-efficient fights over and over again. Defensive castle here from our Chinese player. Probably wants to transition into Tukunu. Oh, DauT needs to run. Koven trying to chase this down. Some camels of Randy coming over. What can we see on the other sides? Not much. DauT, is he maybe up to Castle Age? Oh, 600 food for him. Now ringing the bell, hoping for enough food. 782 for him now. Needs to unring and ring again probably. And that's what he is doing. And now has enough and is clicking up. Oh, and in the meanwhile he's running into the castle with all his villagers. Grunt is trying to speedboat this castle. And they are snacking all those skirmishes. And that means the Tukunoos of Grunt will actually be quite efficient here. Randy still around with his knights and camels. And Grunt, well, he's switching on to stone. Still has some gold in the back, so I can see that reasoning. Koven, no further upgrades. Grunt even taking that stone from the Hans player. Hallelujah. Really wants to get more castles up. Really wants to get onto those Tukunoo numbers. And now the blacksmiths of Dante. Casual pop 36 minutes. Why is this game still not over? Well, it's for a lot of money with a lot of people watching. Don't really want to give up too early in those games, but yeah, indeed, it's looking pretty sexy for the Koreans here. And dominating position. Oh, and now all the spearmen's dying before they can really get upgraded. Gold completely exposed as well. Dante has some resources, but only one stable. Now loses all the spearmen. Actually saves some into the TC. But tricky spot for him for sure. Losing a lot of villagers on gold. Now his wood completely exposed. In the meanwhile, all those raids are shut down. This is looking pretty bad for Dante. I wouldn't be surprised if they might call the GG somewhat soonish. Maybe Field OK and Carslater can still do something, but doesn't have enough stone for extra TCs either. We'll lose all those villagers completely off of gold. Now getting onto some CAs. Hearing that we didn't see that often from Hans players. Most of the time we saw just knights. Oof, tricky situation here for the guys from North America. Trying to hold on is Dante here, but maybe they're hoping that the Mongols player can make something happen. He is going for his first blacksmith now. That's too late, guys. But me telling them was also too late. Did people know about the Imperial Age? Yes, they did! Oh, Dante probably feels like, okay, I stabilized now. I did scare him away. A tricky spot. Let's take a look at population. 56 for Dante. We have 80 for Randy. On the other side, we have Grunt with 73. How many Tukunoos does he have? Now building a second defensive castle here. And that will be a scary army. And on the other side, Koven with a whopping 130 pop here. And axing, dude, take care of your villagers. You're getting raided. And Koven is going for quite a bit of light cav. And finally, he might be moving out to his main gold to transition into more knights here. Didn't have enough gold to produce better units. We'll add some pikemen as well. Raid continues over here. Tukunoos still not out of the castle. Now they're out and trying to go for it. Oh, I'm going for some raids here. Oh, those days won't have the greatest day. Oh god, 2 instantly dying. Oh, is Koven actually clicking that one? Oh, we'll see. Yeah, he did. Ah. Tough position here for US guys. Oh, more raids here from Mr. Koven. And now Tukunu's front end. Oh god, poor DauT just prepared so many pikemen there to defend against the knights. And now Tukunu's the perfect counter are out. And they're trying to go for another double. Koven even having the +2. And... oh, going for a lot of access now. They want to go for the kill. Charging in with all the knights, light cav around as well, sending over more and more, trying to go more to the front, saving his gold. And DauT would be proud of that mining camp there as well. And spearmen at a pikemen at a reasonable position. Tukunu's going for some kills here for sure. And yeah, not the greatest fighting position for sure against all those pikemen. Tukunu's not doing the greatest job of contributing to that fight here. Now more armies coming over and DauT just in a world of pain here. Pop 55 for him. Looking more and more tricky, and he's not really getting onto higher numbers. So much army now at his front base. Overall score 6k to 4k. Now ringing the bell, trying to be defended, and he is kindly asking that they shall go away. But well, I'm kind of expecting, being good Koreans that they are, they don't understand what's going on. Some raids over here, but completely shut down by Koven. If he actually is attacking, let's take a look. Yes, he is. And well, those camels now have bloodlines and +1 defense. He is producing more and tries to stay aggressive, but just such a tricky thing. And Koven now even going for the TC, and GG! Korea is going into the grand finals of the WCG 2001. Koven and Grunt, probably the favorites to advance here, also did advance. And yeah, congratulations to them. I won't probably be too happy that I'm congratulating them now 17 years later, but so be it. Achievements, let's take a look. We are seeing Koven with a lot of kills here, and DauT had some problems there to really get stuff done. The transition to gold too late didn't really upgrade his units. Very open map, and well, castle age time was just so much later than all the other players as well. Did only get to 15 villagers. Obviously nowadays we would know that this fight against the towers probably wasn't optimal either, and yeah, his unit choice, like going for 60 skirmishers, not the greatest thing. I was down to US in that game. Did you play poker with a friend of mine? Because I got contacted some time ago by a friend of mine, and he is sitting at the same poker table with DauT. Is it seriously a 2001 rec? Yes! I believe 11th of November or something. Let me check. 15th of December of 2001. Glad to see you, DauT. Maybe at Foxwood in the USA. Yeah, I think so. I think you were at the same table. Yeah, you play poker full time. Sweet stuff. Like, do we want to go super crazy? And I will message you, and you want to say something in Discord or Skype of that time? That would be too sexy. Okay, nonetheless, that semifinal is over, and we will have the other semifinal. Will be Japan against Canada. Hope so. And Chris played indeed. So let's make the score 0-0 again. And let's see who will face off against Korea there. And guys, then let's just jump into the semis. When did Lord DauT start playing? He played at the time, but he was a pleb, an absolute noob, and couldn't really compete with anyone on the top level. He became good in like 2003, I would say. So after the WCGs finished, maybe 2004, something like that. And we will show him in other episodes for sure. But for now, we are jumping into the other semi-final. It again is a best of one here, and we are looking onto RiuT Magi from Canada, and I will win you today, known for us as Elkland Chris. Both, as we can see, not building houses, indicating that they're hunts. And we are facing Halen, one of the greatest players to ever touch this game. We will see more of him in the future as well. And his teammate is DauT, playing hunts. So we will have 4 times hunts here, being pretty strong stuff. And, well, great showing of you to gift. Mr. Dante, the guy we just saw in the semi-final, is up. Welcome to the channel, mate. And well, we should really talk, because you might know that I'm poker professional as well. Hands only. Well, welcome to 2001, guys. That's how we played it. What are we scouting this far? Going to see how this goes. Find some of the sheep, so 6, that's kind of fine. We'll find those 2 and the 2 boar. No problems. Going for the berry start here as well is Mr. Chris. Which one is Chris? The one in blue. I will win you. Question is, will he win you or not? I believe in the 1v1, he became 4th, just being 1 spot shy, making it on the top 3, getting, I believe, 5k for 3rd or something like that. I believe that was it. Let's see how he will perform here. And now going for board number 1. And let's see what people in the chat have to say. Obviously, the start in 2001 wasn't super exciting. It's the same, like 2018. Okay, Dante actually can't join us. He's just on mobile. Would have been too much of a dream, but maybe I can get in contact with him. And actually, I'm planning to get in contact with Halen again. Shine is still Facebook friends with him, and maybe I can do an interview, maybe a written one, about the time there as well. That would be like super sexy as well. And yeah, we will see. Trying to really step it up here, because I love those games, and I know how, as a small kid, like I'm born in '88, so I was like 13 years old when I came around and watched those racks, and I was just craving them so much when they came out, and it was like oh, people are so good. They know how to build a lumber camp, and oh, look at that, and they realize when villagers are idle, and like the TC was idle so little times, and yeah, I was just like super shocked how good people could actually play this game at that time. And they're so good, like how fast they can see that a scout is coming and get all the villagers in. And it was kind of like the non-top 10 in the world probably are just ringing the bell here, by the way. Oh, typing at the time. Did people ever play with random sits on a professional level? And not in the big tournaments, no. Not WCG or WCLs or something. No. There were some tournaments where you had random Civ and then switched, but those were like more the smaller ones. Yeah. Chris going for the second lumber camp. Do I see someone? No, okay. A small second. I thought he would go on to gold. Didn't happen there. The ballers aren't that good. Well, actually, in the TC, close to the TC, in the TC, in the TC, in the TC. That's actually like 7.5 or like 6.5 perfect ones and one okayish one. Yeah, guys, there also was a best of 21 of Chris against DauT, where both of them put $500 on the line to fight against each other. And that was basically the biggest rivalry for like 10 years in the game, or like, let's say 2004 to 2010 or 2011 or something. And that was such an epic best of 21 and so much prestige on the line. We will certainly take a very close look into that series as well. But before that, we'll have to see that DauT is going aggressively here. And let's take a look. Oh, good that I helped. Traveling back in time and doing 3 damage. And please no spoilers. Okay, so the aggression is coming. How will Magi defend this? Oh, militia forward. And 2 on gold. M&A forward, guys. This is so unstandard for that time. Obviously, the barracks a bit late for our standards nowadays. And Halen, that looks like scouts from home. Or maybe skirmishes. On the other side, we have Risen Magi. He is not even on gold. Has a nice defensive stone, but defensive towers wasn't really the super standard yet. 2 militia. Will he go for M&A? I believe he will. Continues to do some damage against the scout. Still has his scout with full HP here. Some nice quick wallings. Let's take a look. 3rd militia will fly in. Archery range as well. And then that will be some aggression for sure. Do we see the M&A upgrade? No wood upgrade either. And M&A upgrade indeed is coming in. This Magi is now up to Fuel Age, where his buildings double archery range defensively. At the same time, Halen going for double archery range. And Chris is going for some aggression, charging up with his spearmen. So that will be a very intense game here for sure. Trying to drop off some food and then pull the villagers away. Taking this fight was not really the best option, but we'll get into the TC. No problems here. And we'll go for the skirm defense. Looks okay, I would say. But losing the berries, obviously very hurtful at the 12-minute mark in the game. Oh, Chris. He's going for the sneaky attack, and Halen, well, he sees it just barely. What can he do? Both for skirmishers and spearmen. Is he trying to defend this? Not really, and that's going to hurt him quite a bit. Is he trying to pull all his villagers? He's trying to counter tower this! Oh god, this is an option I did not see. And okay, will he lose the villager? For now he is fine. Damage output is very minimal. We'll lose 1 villager here for sure. Now pulls more villagers over and wants to fight down this tower. At the same time, no aggression there at orange and green. 2 villagers down, and well, it seems like the tower of Chris will fall eventually. Now, but that was a lot of idle time. Look at that, 18 food at the moment. All the food villagers trying to fight off, so he does not have any income. Now sending villagers from the woodline over to build some more farms. Can he get some more villager kills against Chris here? Seems like he is somewhat fine. Ah. Nice defense here by Halen. Take a look, the aggression continues. Not the biggest defense here by Rhythm Magi. Oh, nice walls. And goes for some gold. And, well. What can I say to that? Mining cap, okay. Nice little advantage here. And I believe he should be able to hold this. Would love to see a second lumber camp here. We see some aggression. Halen actually walling his own archer ranges off a bit. Oh, now this is getting super aggressive on both sides. But nice defense here. Canada is holding strong. But Halen is doing the great defense as well. Take a look. Is he back onto some villager queuing up here? Yes, he is. Nice defense this far. Our player in the orange trunks. TR2 now going for blacksmiths as well. Skirmishes on that hill, trying to camp it out. Farms not perfectly positioned here. Quite a lot, one child away. Don't like that too much. And now, seeing that, okay, both of us are going for mass skirmishes, let's squeeze in some scouts here, shall we? Not saying super aggressive. Obviously, double would be perfect now. But that was pretty tricky. Communication. I believe they did head to chat. At least that's what we saw before. That we saw Orange announcing green after he scouted him. And back in again, doesn't want to fight against the hill. Aggressive lumber camp here. Out of Mr. Chris. Uh-oh. And now TR2 is going over. There's a Magi going for the stable as well. That was the standard transition there at that point. Or at that time. Not the blacksmiths. They didn't even quick wall. No wonder DauT was back #1 back then. Ah, so true. So true. Okay, and now, oh, that's such a brutal double. Obviously, the damage output isn't that great. We don't have fletching, really. We don't really see those M&A being grouped up too well. Did he not see that wood line? He did not. Well, not really. Okay, one villager probably goes down here. No reaction yet from Mr. Chris. He's fighting at the front as well. That's why he's not taking care at home. Now microing back a bit here, and oh god, that will be some losses for him for sure. The macros at that time obviously wasn't that great. And yeah, losing a lot of his video. Now trying to get the stable up at the front as well. But this is going to be tricky. Halen's production should be flying in pretty nicely. And that's some damage output now as well. Completely blocking all those farms. Chris is completely idle at that point. Orange now trying to go for some aggression. But did split his army. Actually did keep some at home to be safe. And TR2 now going for defensive archer ranges here as well. To be safe, and that was a nice double, and Chris lost a lot of farm villagers here. His eco will be in trouble for sure. But now some raids. If only he had fletching here as well. Score overall still very close, and now fighting this off with villagers. That's something we don't see too often. Did Arabia had more wood back then because climate change wasn't real big? Yes. Nice observation. Oh, and now going for another attack, and now with fletching and 3 M&A, that could get pretty tricky. One villager down, trying to fight this off, just waited to get more skirmishes, and now hill advantage and the +1 attack. helping out so much. Again, trying to attack through the TC. Chris fighting or microing at the front. Maybe this was the greatest team play of all time. Announcing that, yeah, I'm taking the fight at the front, just kill villagers under TC. And that's what TO2 is doing. And Chris is just losing so much. Couldn't really get up his scouts and now losing skirmisher after skirmisher. His small amount of scouts isn't really helping out as well. Losing all his woodland. Now needs to pull villagers over here. This is getting so ugly for him. Even microing back the scouts, Halen. I'm not 100% sure why he wanted to do that. Skirmisher defense for TO2 is real as well. There's a Magi. He needs to get Botkin arrow here. Chris in a world of pain. And Halen with his army should just completely swipe Chris off this map. Going for more archers and skirmishers, trying to defend this on the hill, but numbers aren't really on his side. Now trying to fight this off with villagers, that cannot really be okay. Or is he trying to pull them back? Okay, he's trying to fight this off indeed. Still has some army left over here. Tries to fight off the archers. Well, if only skirmishers are left over, that's maybe an option. Skirmishers over here need to join the fight as well, and that's some villager loss for sure. No other aggression at the right hand side. Still some raiding here on the TC, but double stable. And we see lots of villagers being idle, and that's some heavy losses here for TO2 for sure. He has so many villagers very low now, but it seems like slowly he fought all this down at the same time. He did take some wins over here, and well, he survived this. He did indeed survive this. Well, he is only at 34 villagers at the 24-minute mark, so not really having the greatest eco of all times, but it's still his aggression, and he survived after doubling Mr. Chris quite a bit, who is in no position of really contesting this game here. Wow. No wood left hand side, no wood really on the right hand side, and Halen just continues producing. Now he switches onto gold. It even adds some beautiful farms here. Wow, tricky situation. And TO2, he survived this. Now staying on his hill, will get some free kills, and finally Resin Magi has fletching. If he had that earlier, I believe he could have killed so much more. And now going for the +1 defense, he's charging in for another attack, and well, with those two scouts in the front, this will get tricky for our player in green. Oh, Chris now evacuating, sending some villagers over. Halen, he is completely surrounding our poor Chris now. Walling in those archer ranges and stables was the way to deal with that situation in 2001 and prior to that. British scouts not having the greatest eco. Look at that, like 2 villagers working on food and now sending villagers over, but 1 Emide is around there. Let's take a look. Can Rhythm Magi maybe do something +1 defense on his scouts? Villagers trying to fight over this, and nice snipe on that spearman. I think he needs to contest this with his 5 scouts. He needs to attack all those skirmishes. Green doesn't really have that much. He is taking better fights than he actually should. Interesting money came from Halen as well. Oh, the eco of Chris, and he is taking wood in the center of the map. Maybe can make something happen with the counterattack with his skirmishers. Would be very surprised. Nice control here for our player in the green trunks. Always fighting with the hill. Tries to keep his villagers as efficient as possible. Still deep in the feudal age, now could lose maybe all his skirmishes if the scouts are attacking, and that's what they're doing. They have all the upgrades here on the scouts. Green is in a world of trouble. This might become somewhat of a 1v1 situation, because TO2, he will be completely out of this game. If those scouts just kill all the skirmishes, there's a lot of firepower still left from our player in the orange trunks, but it feels like too many HP lost before the final upgrades there, before Bloodlines was in. And Green is holding this. How is he doing this? Those scouts just taking too much damage against the villagers here. And now just grouping up and sending more army to the front. He is charging in again. But at the same time, well, Halen is just still so active. And Chris, what can he really do? Now another aggressive tower wants to deny those farms as well. In the meanwhile, those scouts in the back, what did they do? see 1 dead villager and 2 dead scouts. That's not the trade-off he wanted and he needed. More army to the front. Chris so super exposed here. Fighting off some of those villagers as well. Whew. Score reasonably close. Stable now. 29 minutes. No one in Castle Age yet. Risen Magi, as we can see, still full production. If anyone, it should be Halen reaching Castle Age the earliest. Let's take a look what the scouts can do again now. Oh, even trying to split off, trying to go for some raids in the gold. And oh, Chris even helping out some. Let's take a look at those scouts. They are now finally closing down the distance. Some hill advantage for Risen Magi this time. Can Canada pull this back? Chris is completely out of this game, but maybe if green completely dies and orange with a completely untouched eco can make something happen. That could be it. Villagers now charging in. Xiao2 dropping below 50 pop and he will lose everything here at the front. Scouts still active. And oh, this is looking super tricky. What a good game here. And this is getting so close. Look at that. Within 100 points in team score here. Pop 47 for him. Chris certainly has to be lower than that. But does it really matter in the end? If Risen Magi keeps all his army up and alive. Halen, he isn't really producing too much. Wow. Oh, now going for a woodline over here again. Well, that's so unprotected. But Chris, needs to pull all his villagers. No losses there. That's good for him. Oh, why Risen Magi? He is not seeing this woodline. Koven goes for the aggressive tower, and Halen is coming over and helping out. Magi, what is he? Not producing nothing. So he's transitioning into his Castle Age units there completely. Now trying to go over and raid. Halen still has 1 nice defensive tower. Needed to advance with all his wood. Green in a world of pain, and but Halen is taking good engagement here, but now the scouts are coming from behind. Can maybe Magi do the same that he did to Xiao2? It kind of looks like it. But Halen is having scouts around as well, but more archers on the side for Magi, but he's losing those now. Halen is up to Castle Age. We're only at 60% here for our player in orange. This looks like Halen will clear this up in the end. He is missing the +1 attack, but against skirmishers, that's not the most important thing in the world. Aggressive siege works up. 2 more aggressive stables. He already had 1 in the back here. Has +1 and bloodlines. Now did catch up with that, and Halen, he did clear up all that, and green should have some time to breathe. Did go for a very aggressive woodline, and now we see some villager fights over here. What is happening? Knights need to be queued up here. Those could all die. Magi, is he trying to micro this back? Indeed, is trying to lure the villagers into his other knights. He's going for quite a bit. And did I see the wood upgrade? Hello. That's actually pretty good. People nowadays realize how good that upgrade is, but in the old days, people had to figure that out on their own. And now knights against villagers. That's not the greatest scenario. Chris is trying to go for some walls, but really needs to run. Needed to farm away from his TC because so many towers were around. Now trying to run over here. What are we witnessing in this game? Now it's completely orange against teal here. But quite open to be raided are both players. Will Chris maybe lose his TC? It doesn't look too great. I would be super surprised. Actually, he has more resources than I thought. Is he trying to fight this off with villagers? Orange isn't really coming around. So many dead villagers over here. He is at pop 28 only, and he will lose his TC for sure. Now going for some axes, needs some stone to even rebuild another TC. Cannot really repair this either. He's going for a mining camp? Okay, wants to get onto stone apparently to build another TC, but that will be a lot of villager loss for him. Is he trying to spread them around? No, Halen, as you can see, spreading the knights around already to make sure to really get all of them. And at the same time, clearing up what Magi had over here. And it's looking more and more tricky. What can Orange do now? He has +2 attack as well. And Bloodlines. And Chris, well, he saved another 3 villagers. It's now up to 14. If you can really call it up. Let's take a look at the other players, which Magi at the same time. Pop 95 for him. And Halen at 100. So it's really between the two of them. What is DauT? 78 food. So he will take some time till he gets on 2 castles on his own, and only 2 knights over here could obviously completely shrek that army, but with Magi didn't even scout that area yet. So it won't really happen. Obviously he won't see that far. Oh. Son bitte! Magi against Halen. Kind of is the 1v1. Let's take a look at TCs. I can see 3 TCs on Magi. On the other side, Halen is playing this with 3 TCs on his own. And is going for quite some... Oh, but he's getting a big raid in. And that will be some dead villagers. Yeah, he's sending overnights and will clear it up. But that's a lot of lost mining time here as well. Sniper, wake up. Oh, but in the end, he will clear up the raid and not a lot of villagers. Well, how many villagers died there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6, 7-ish? 7 villagers and killed 8 knights. Maybe 10. Let's say 10 villagers. It hurts, but there are things that hurt more. For example, this raid of Halen will get some kills guaranteed as well. And Magi isn't having enough knights around. It's pulling them in quite nicely. Perfect reaction timing. And Halen staying active over here. Magi is seeing that as well. Perfect moves from both players. Being so active, but both reacting in time. And oh god! But losing some more villages over here. Wanted to go for TC number 4. And that are some losses here. And Halen not seeing it. He's now at pop 96 with Magi at 83. Both not really advancing too much higher because so many heavy raids are happening here in this game against each other. Chris staying active with his scouts. Wants to get some more input on how this looks. DauT even adding scouts now. Has no control over his gold and feels like, well, I have some farms really set up here. And indeed he does. So, well, but the scout raids without any upgrades, I think that's not really the best option here for him. And that single knight did get some kills for sure. Halen now charging in though, and that monastery probably won't go up. A lot of stone for Mr. Magi though, so he might get a defensive castle. But first he will lose that villager, monastery denied. All the villagers in stone could die, and then, well, 672 stone won't really help you too much. You want to build a castle. Put another TC out of the map. 15 years later, we would call that a Bua TC. Oh, some troubles here for Magi. He doesn't really have the numbers anymore. Pop 90 for him. Can he get the defense done? Some skirmishers now even raiding his gold line. Where are the scouts? DauT going for the +1 defense. Maybe he goes on to the gold as well here. Now the tower rush continues of Halen. 1 score lead now for them. Wood lines going okay-ish. Not the greatest macro, and hallelujah. That's not the greatest one. Whew. Guys, we have to remember as well, those games were all played years before RiuT was born. Just quite ridiculous if you think about it. +1 defense and Magi. He stays at pop 95. Let's take a look. How is Halen increasing? He is at 106. CO2 at 60, Chris at 19, so it's only going up for him. Oh, but he's just going for scouts. He didn't even rebuild his TC, he just goes for scouts. Okay, now he's rebuilding his TC. Oh god, what a game, what a game. And actually, like, the score gap decreased a bit. Chris is getting some kills in. What are we witnessing? But that tower rush, I didn't see that one coming. And Xiao2, how are the two kind of defeated players not trying to reboom? They are both going for scouts and actually doing damage with it. Does anyone know how Larry found AoE2? His father played. And his brother. And yeah, they beat him at the start. And then he wanted to get better and then became much better. Those raids are stopped. Chris trying to outrun the knights. Oh, and those raids are continuing. Take a look. Magi, pop 103 now. Adding even some CA. Building a TC in somewhere in no man's land. If Xiao2 sees that, this is getting pretty tricky. Oh, Halen, that will be completely stopped. What an intense game, guys. For more TCs. Scouts obviously won't be the greatest thing ever against CA, and well, that TC won't really go up. Halen would be around, but Xiao2 is sniping those villagers before him even. And well, that's an ugly spot for sure. See down, Chris coming over to help. Well, not really to help. The market now up, and did he go on to gold? No, well, or at least he tried to, but got denied again. Magi is doing a great job over there. Now we are back to 1k's advantage here of the score. Putting a lot of villagers away here. Halen, what is he doing? Oh, getting TC up. Okay. More raids all around the map. This is such a super scrappy game. So tough to play. Where is Magi getting gold at the moment? Nowhere really, right? Oh, okay, you're still in the middle here. Okay, in the center of the map. Give me an update on Xiao2. Is he up to castle age? Yes, he did abuse the market apparently, and well, did sell some stone. Does he have some stone over here? Yes, he does. And we'll go in for another raid. Magi is trying to defend this. More raids over here at the side. What are we witnessing here? Xiao2 still going for a massive amount of scouts. And Chris just casually walling this off. Now those raids were pretty deadly for Magi. Again, he does not have a lot of gold income. That raid, I believe, will be cleared up. Chris tries to stay being on the annoying side here. Score leads to 1k. And now Xiao2 finally will reach Castle Age, and he should build some extra TCs, should finally get onto some gold, maybe this gold even. And he stays active with all his scouts. And let me get an update on how many TCs we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 TCs here for Mr. Magi. Really wanted to get that Wulan apparently. And getting raided everywhere again. Tough spot, and even losing with knights in the front here against so many scouts. Yeah, he did kill quite a bit of scouts, and now even light cap, so this is getting pretty tricky. Pop 123 for him, and yeah, it feels a bit like 2v1 at the moment. Chris trying to stay active. What a tough spot for him. Magi even continuing to go for some raids. Chris did ask before. This guy is building a TC here. Try to raid this stone. There will be a lot of villagers, and that's indeed what Magi is doing. Now trying to position himself between the TC and the villagers so that they cannot jump into the TC that easily. But Halen, not with the greatest reaction timing ever, but now getting into the TC. Next aggression is coming through the center. TC number 8 is even flying in, and Halen, he is going for quite a bit. And aggressive castle here in the face of Mr. Magi. Can we see some conversions? Not really at the moment. Light Cap would be around. We see some axes. Has to convert knights, not villagers, but it looks like Halen simply has enough here to control all this, and then he will have a perfect base here at the front, and both monks converting the same unit, losing their phase together. Raids in the center though, Halen completely focusing at the front, meaning no reaction at home, and even Magi falling back, and Halen now sending his villagers into the TCs. Lots of dead villagers here. He is going for quite some TCs as well. And now the aggression through the center. I heard more barracks at the end of the map here. Pop 125 for him. What is Halen up to? He is at pop 150 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 TCs for Halen as well. Siege Bookshop. Oi, oi, oi. 160. Where is he producing knights? Close to the base of Mr. Chris. Could maybe go to see number 10. They really wanted to have protected villagers here. More stables. Magi. Obviously, best of 1, guys. Semifinals. WCG 2001. If you lose this single game, you're out of the tournament and can only fight for the place 3 match. Or in the place 3 match. And if you're winning this one, you will go and fight off Mr. Grunt and Koven in the finals. Lots of idle villagers here for Halen. Knights are actually fighting them off, but those have been idle for quite some time. Halen trying to reposition himself. Magi is still holding this on. Whew. Oh, now TO2 coming over with some raids as well. He is suddenly up to pop 80 himself, and this is just so ugly. Now Magi really has to play 2v1. Chris still deeply in the feudal age. I don't even see him going on to gold. Look at that. Not even keeping his TC running. 400 food only for him now. Just goes for more scouts that aren't even perfectly upgraded. Halen with such a deadly base in between parts of Magi's base actually here. Ay, ay, ay. WCL 2010 or 2011, WCL 7, something we will take a look at later on as well. We had, I believe, Halen, Kkab and Grunt playing at that time against, I believe, which was Jordan, RiuT and Viper for RVK or something. Should be a pretty interesting series at that time as well. No, not really protecting his villager. Oh, here's Rams here. Oh, and that's another deadly castle. Let's take a look. There's a Magi 120 pop. He keeps producing his villagers, but well, so many raids and now like 4th row farms already. And will probably lose his starting TC. No golden come for him. They have so little of the map. Yeah, some golden come over here, but that's really not enough. Feels like Halen is taking this control. Obviously, I will show the stats at the end of the game. And we'll watch Battle of Africa 2018. Well, maybe in my recap in 2028. Playing Age of Empires 6. And I said like, oh, let's jump into some Age of Empires 2 games. Up 110 for Meta, and it only gets lower now. No more army for him. Let's take a look here. We have 22 cavalry actually. He is somewhat active. He is still raiding quite a bit, but well, pop 100 for him. Halen at pop 170, close to being Imperial Age as well. This push won't stop. And next castle, Halen is just wrecking all this. Whew. Why don't you use an overlay? Well, if you tell me how to use it, I will. And Halen, he will soon reach Imperial Age, probably resulting in the GG timing here. Let's take a look. Where's Magi? He is trying to hold this on. As I said, like normally in a normal rated game, they probably would have resigned, but oh, gonna enjoy some worldwide camera time. The world is watching, and Yari, Dazi Makuru. Those are the sentences we need. Continues with his raid. What is he really up to at the moment? And Halen is reaching Imperial Age. Are they discussing 2GG here? CC is not really running. He's queuing up more, but he will lose more and more villagers. GG! A 1 hour game. Halen is winning it for his team. TauT with some questionable defenses here. And very sorry. I'm sorry. What for? That they won? Congratulations, Japan against Korea, WCG 2001, the first ever Nations Cup. Has to be a very promising series here, or like best of one coming our way in the finals as well. Intense stuff. Chris just not having the macro at the time, getting raided heavily at the front, then not getting onto stables enough, got completely smashed there, and it felt like Magi had a nice defense against TauT, but mainly because he doubled there as well, and then it was Halen against Magi, and in the end, Halen's macro just a bit better. 10 TCs, obviously better than 8 TCs. Had won in the game. KD in the end, Chris actually getting quite a lot of kills. This is quite ridiculous. The guy was completely destroyed, lost his TC in Feudal Age, and still gets up to 95 kills. Building skilled, Chris lost 20 there. One hour, 5 seconds, forcing the GG out of our Canadians. Pop 37 only. Ay, 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 ay. Brutal stuff, brutal stuff. And yeah, timeline, as you can see. Ugly, ugly spot for them. Poor Chris, but now I'm excited to take a look into our grand finals, guys. It will be second best Korea, South Korea, against Japan. And that will be the finals. And the score is 0-0. And everyone wants to know, how did people look at that time? How did they play? Well, I can show you a small video of Koven during 2001 WCG actually playing. Let's take a look at that together, guys. That's those old CRT monitors. Obviously, the resolution was horrible from all the cameras. And that's how fast he played. And that people were crazy, like, how he's using hotkeys! He's using hotkeys! What's going on? And as you can see, he's using quite a lot of groups. And you can see all the PCs there in the background as well. And now zooming into the hand. Using so many hotkeys. And groups. That was one of the best players in the world for you guys. Obviously nowadays they are just spamming the numbers there. And yeah, double archery range as you can see. And Hans as you can see. That was part of the 1v1 tournament though. Yeah, well, still doesn't use hotkeys. That's so true. That's so true. Okay, guys. So it was Canada against US of A in the place for number 3, or in the match for place number 3. And in the end, Canada actually won that one. So third place goes to Canada. Let's find out who gets first and who gets second in this WCG 2001 Grand Finals. Dum dum. Epic music intensifies because it is Grand Final time. And we're jumping into it, guys. This is, again, Mr. War Grunt playing the Koreans. Oh, not the Koreans. He is from Korea. My bad. He's playing Hans, and his teammate Mr. Koven is playing Hans. So they switched around with the stabilization, playing Chinese Hans, now Hans. And on the other side, we have Halen playing the Hans and TauT playing the Hans as well. So again, completely 4 Hans players. Let's take a look how they are approaching this, how we are seeing this play out, guys. Whew. I'm pretty excited to see. Triple sheeping even. That's something, well, people aren't doing today anymore. Grunt and Koven actually pretty far away, mainly because Koven is so far at the edge of the map. Distances in general quite high on this map. Grunt, Koven and Halen at one point, all part of the Tyrant team as well, guys. That's so true. I'm not sure what happened with DauT though. He stayed active. Which are running back, not the greatest waypoint there. And poof. Well, as we said several times, the wood lines were so much tougher to control, tough to really click on the trees at that time in year without any small tree mods. Not a single lumber camp perfectly positioned except Koven's. That one looks pretty solid to me. Oh, we'll probably find all his sheep here. At least one, and maybe if it clicks a bit too far to the right. What? Is he? That was weird. Sending in one sheep and then... Okay, now he even finds the rest. That's pretty lucky for him. Okay. Now getting boar number 1 in. Grunt without loom here. That's a ballsy dude. Look at how controlled that is. That's pretty impressive. Like for us, nowadays it's totally standard. But for 2001, that's a pretty good boar lure for sure. Yeah, Chris and DauT were kind of the top 2 till Viper took over. IWC now for Grunt needs to drop off some food. Oh well, he's going for loom. Fine with me as well. I'm queuing up more villagers, exactly what we're expecting out of him. And well, obviously, like, talking about how the resources are positioned isn't really that important. at that time, because as we all know, people won't really transition onto gold before minute 25. And yeah, games aren't really decided by the positioning of the resources here. It's most of the time just who switches into scouts earlier, who has the better engagement. Would you own these players in a 2v1? That's a good question. Probably not. But maybe there were some WCG contestants that I would win 2v1. That's an interesting question. Tricky one. Probably, even they were probably too good. Yeah, if we think about it, like they are playing like 1700s nowadays. And I think I can't beat 1700s that communicate well. Right? Or are they playing like Woobly 1600s? More like Woobly 1600s, right? It's tricky, it's tricky. I think it's getting close. I think it's really getting close. I wish there were streams back then. Yeah, everyone does. But you have to remember, the internet was just so bad at that time as well. And yeah. It even took us time to download recs, because I had like download speed of like 5 kilobytes per second. So if the record was 3 megabytes, I really had to consider, like, is that worth it? And then after we finally started to zip and RAR, those records became so much better. Suddenly you can download a record of 2 megabytes in under 10 minutes. The dream came true. So just think about how bad streaming had to be. Oh, TSC Blade. He actually did something that no one else in the world did and still... Grunt. And still no one does. Like, he queued up buildings? Like, how can I explain that? So, for example, if he built a barracks over here and wanted to later send the villager down, he would queue up the barracks and build a palisade here, so that the villager automatically, after finishing the barracks, would run down, and then he would click him away to the wood and cancel the palisade. And he was so fast and so sharp with his timing that he had less idle villager time. So it was super impressive, and I believe like that's the level of Age of Empires that he tried to play there that we still haven't reached. TSC Blade, the Canadian Kkab player. That was really, really impressive. Okay, let's take a look. Grunt at 62%. We have Koven at 57 with pop 25. Already walling quite a bit here. And that looks pretty solid. Quite a bit of farms of him here. Halen at the same time. 24 and soon to be up, and on the other side DauT, pop 24, and all of them walling quite a bit. Looks pretty solid. Pop 24, pop 25, and oh, look at that, Grunt, he is going for scouts. That was your typical build at that time. If you wanted to go for scouts, send 5 individual villagers on gold so that you have 100 gold instead of 50, and later can do bloodlines. Oh, interesting. Oh, but you forgot the barracks! Oh no! Oh no, okay, well that will... Grunt, hallelujah. Well, congratulations to your 100 food if you don't even have a barracks. Okay. But well, he won't lose a villager. But that's just ugly. Super late. On the other side, double archer range from Koven. Halen, double archer range, and double archer range. Oh, one archer range, one stable from DauT. Now sending 2 more villagers to the front. Is he maybe going for double stable? He has enough wood for it. Would be tricky. But, well, they're just out way too slowly. Trying to build the stable with 4 villagers now. Well, that's a mistake. That shouldn't happen at that high level, even back then. We're getting the barracks, and he's queuing up more farms, so only one stable for now. Maybe does instantly bloodlines and then queues up some stables. Going for some spearmen. Did he scout? No, he didn't even see archer range and stable yet. At the same time, Koven just archer ranges, and he's walling quite a bit. That's something we didn't see that match at that time. And indeed, going for bloodlines first, and then we'll queue up some scouts. Has a nice amount of farms, but still, on a single, really aggressive unit out for him. Will defend against those scouts though, and will be in a fine position. Koven trying to scout his enemy, and for now we don't have a single dead unit. Namek way. Well, then I had slower connection than 56k. Maybe we had 28k at the start. That's a slow start. Oh, bloodlines first. You're trying to take this engagement 2 against 3 scouts? Not really, right? No. Okay. Oh, and wheelbarrow. Hello. The vampires would be proud. And that could be the first kill of the game. And, well, they're not really taking this engagement perfectly. Oh, even traders there. Lots of skirmishes here from Halen, and let's take a look. Our production continues, and it's bloodlines against no bloodlines. Obviously, I said no one will take gold before the 20-minute mark, and well, Grunt took 50. I think that still is fine. Look at how perfectly he's building the farms around so that he can squeeze in that farm after the berry is finished. And Koven, well, he has to have a lot of skirmishers grouped up here. Indeed, and going for the stable now himself. Going for some scout at the front, and, well, he has a nice scouting pattern here. Interesting stuff. Second stable and blacksmith. Oh god. Grunt is really going for it. And oh, he's doubling as well. And that's only one spearman. If Koven can snipe that one, those scouts could just wreck Halen completely. Where is Yellow with his army? Well, that could be a good spot to actually do some team play. Spearmen still around. 3 is the number. But 4 skirmishers are coming over as well. Axes the army, and now Koven maybe starts to charge in. Is going for the blacksmith as well. Maybe he goes for fletching. Control that front area quite nicely. Spearman in the back of Grunt, trying to defend this, but 1v4 not really a thing. Nice micro here, and wow, that looks pretty sexy for Chow too. Grunt in some troubles here. Doesn't really have any army to defend this. Needs to pull off the villagers, but oh god, that's a lot of scouts. That's a lot of scouts. He will be fine. He will be fine for sure. Oh, but is he attacking? Not really. He could have charged in against one spearman. I know that I said charged in quite a lot today. I will try to fix that in the future. Archer range is now the stable from Mr. Halen as well. Trying to defend his home base. That's a lot of scouts from Mr. Grunt. Probably wants to clear up this. Some more spearmen would be the right answer to that. It's all those scouts. Look at Grunt. And now even going for farms over here. And he didn't even build that farm in the center that I thought he would go for. Okay, now going for spread formation, going for closed formation. Interesting. That's 1 kill with the spearman here. Even has +1 attack. Is he going for the defense upgrade? Not yet. I can only see like 2 spearmen this far. One of them instantly getting killed. Okay, 2 other spearmen still surviving. And that's a lot of skirmishes going down. Let's take a look. This spearman over here somewhat doing the damage. Another third one is coming over, but skirmishes are now running. They need to fight so that the spearman can do the damage. At the moment, that was a pretty sexy clear up. What are we seeing over here? The armies. Now Koven with the big army and trying to attack, but so is Halen. Maybe this will be some sort of a base trade. Can Grunt maybe get some breathing room and try to double the other side? It's like WCL2 should be continuing to put on the pressure. He's going for the second barracks. Love that addition. Saw the double stable. And he maybe feels like, okay, I have a timing here. If I just go, oh, more mills here. Gonna love that. Oh, and now Halen is in the back of Koven before Koven could really attack Halen. Interesting stuff. Indeed, 20 minutes. Now we're going for gold. And this is pretty good here. Koven not really reacting at all. We'll lose at least 3 villagers here if I see that correctly. Maybe that one could even stay alive. Ah. Was there a certain event player who changed how people played the game? Several ones, and that's why we are trying to follow this whole series. Now we are just showing like the first events ever played, and then we will go through time and see what player had what influence in the game. Don't tell me Koven is going for it. No, okay, he's not. Oh, but now losing a lot of his wood. Ah, but luckily he already had a third lumber camp here. He's trying to go for that. What are the scouts of Grunt doing? Oh, defensive tower here by Halen. Is he sending the villagers back to the gold? That's something he shouldn't really do. Oh, this is quite a scrappy game here for Koven and Halen. What is Yellow doing? He is going for another attack. Look at that. Still no blacksmith for him. Oh, he has a blacksmith now. What upgrade is he going for first? I want to see... Nothing yet. Oof, but Koven staying active here. How ballsy is Halen that he's going on to that gold spot again? Tricky situation. Or like, tricky? Not really, like, just ballsy, just ballsy. Oh, Koven, he's the master of will wars. Will he try to go for it? Maybe focusing down the spearmen and then build some scouts. That could be an option. Just pulling villagers over. Where is he trying to go? Just builds another lumber camp here. Those guys. Oh god, but that's a lot of scouts here and they're completely wrecking Halen. Halen has no army at the moment. At the same time, Yellow is charging in against Mr. Grunt here. That's a lot of spearmen so far. And Halen, well, he cannot be happy. He lost a lot of stuff here. Grunt with a lot of scouts still left. At the same time, there's only one spearman left here. Can you maybe focus down that spearman with 3 HP? Then the scouts can easily wrap that up. And but WCL2, he is aggressive still, and Grunt has no answer to spearman. Hey, Grunt is going for 4 stables here. What is he doing? 4 stable aggression. And now sending all his scouts back. WCL2, why is he not having any upgrades? Just think about it. If he had 1 defense upgrade on the spearman, it would be so much more efficient. So much more efficient. Okay, Halen survived. He didn't lose a lot of villagers. Yeah, he lost all his army, but that's okay. He killed quite a bit as well. Did even save some of his skirmishers. And WCL2, oh, he does everything right. He goes for mass spearmen here, but maybe those could be even not enough. Grunt, how is he getting onto those scout numbers? It's just ridiculous. Look at how Grunt is shredding WCL2's army here. More spearmen, he's going for spearman rush only. And he's even running. He is running with spearmen only away from scouts only. What are we witnessing? 4 stables here from Grunt. He's just toying with his enemies. Skirms are now coming over. Well, hallelujah, Skirms will do nothing against that amount of scouts. Oh, yeah. Is this a feudal only tournament? No, it's not. It's the way they thought at that time was the most efficient way to play this game. The best players in the world. Grunt, Koven, Halen, and WCL2. Is he producing more spearmen? Not really. Is Koven jumping over? Not really either. Well, +1 defense, finally. Oh, just keeps 1 scout there to kill all the skirmishers. Maybe a second one could really help. And maybe some skirmishers could really help there as well. Going for more farms in the back here. And even deleting the barracks to take another better engagement. That's a ballsy move. No barracks for Grunt at the moment. And charging in +1/+1 on all those spearmen. I believe they're still losing. What are we witnessing? So big numbers here for Grunt. And he is buying more time for himself. I still feel DauT isn't playing this too poorly. He just needed those upgrades a bit earlier. Maybe could even go for a third barracks now. This sounds so weird. Grunt, mass amount of stables still and mass amount of scouts. Oh god, just think about it if he's going over there, and that feels like he is going over there. Halen at the moment has one single, oh no, he has more spearmen. He has like 5-6 spearmen. Well, make that 4-5 spearmen. And all of them now going to the front. Grunt is coming over. What will Halen have to defend this? He needs to go very defensively. Oh, DauT, why are you not attacking here? I think he needs to keep up the pressure. Otherwise, he's so open for the double. And he is Halen, one of the greatest players to ever touch this game. Koven, mass skirmishers from him. He has 3 stables at home, 2 archer ranges. Is he maybe up to castle age? That could be an option. Let's get a quick update there. We see, oh yeah, he's 70% castle, but Koven is now getting big help from Grunt here, and there was so little army left from both parties, and this is the double Halen absolutely did not want to see. Now trying to get defensive towers up. He already has 1 defensive tower. Where is he on stone? Beautiful stuff there, including in his walls, but a lot of villagers going down, switching to the point of view of Halen. Well, he won't be happy with that 60 pop for him, and look at how many scouts are just coming over. Look at that, that looks like a Goth player. Just spamming over Huskars, but actually it is Mr. Grunt 2001 Nations Cup Finals, and he wants to close out this game. He just wants to go crazy. He wants to kill all the villagers. He is even trying to kill the TC. What are we seeing, guys? Spearman rush continues over here. And that's actually something that Grunt cannot clear up here. It's impossible for him to clear up. All those spearmen, no chance. No chance in hell. The scouts are doing quite some damage as well. But at the same time, Halen is just... Oh no! Halen resigns! Halen resigns after realizing, okay, Koven is castle age. He will go mass knights. GG! Grunt and Koven are taking this win. DauT. Oh, not getting enough aggression with his mass spearmen against mass scouts. When did we ever see that work? And Grunt and Koven, 2 of the biggest names that this game has ever seen, are taking the WCG 2001 Nations Cup for $6,000 in front of a nice crowd and some television in Korea as well. Halen, well, he wasn't really able to get onto gold to click up. No market from him either. Grunt, well, he was still very deeply infiltrated as well, just queued up more scouts. That could have been so tricky for him. I think he would have had a lot of idle stuff. DauT at the same time, well, he still wasn't on gold. 3 barracks, still not on gold. And Koven, obviously, was setting himself up to maybe try to kill another TC here. Look at that full amount as well. And the KDs have to be pretty interesting. How can you have a negative KD there? Largest army! 44 for everyone! Except Grunt. Did he even try to build a lot of army, guys? Didn't really look like it. Solid timings. Those were pop 24s and pop 25. Solid timings, honestly. Very solid timings for that time. Oof. And that was WCG 2001, the first ever Nations Cup for you guys. I hope you will tune in with the next episode. We will move on in time and jump into the year of 2002. Not sure if that's going to be the WCG 2002. Since it's only in November or December, I think that would be a bit of a big step. I will see what other tournaments we have, and I hope I will see you then. Dum 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 dum.